Alright, this is the 8-2 notes, so you're going to learn about Pythagorean theorem, which you already know, and the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to start right here. It says the Pythagorean theorem, if triangle ABC is a right triangle with angle C being the right angle, then what you know from this is that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a couple examples real quick. We're going to start here with this first one. It says to go ahead and find A. So I'm going to label this one B. And remember, C is always across from your right angle. It's always the hypotenuse. So we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So we have A squared plus 12 squared is equal to 13 squared. So we have A squared plus 144 is equal to 169. Subtract 144 from both sides. A squared is equal to 25, so A is equal to 5. Okay, and you can always pause this, rewind it, watch as many times as you need to. Next one is to find C. So it doesn't matter which one you want to call A and which one you want to call B. So again, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So we have A is 20, so we have 20 squared plus I labeled B as 30, so 30 squared is equal to C squared. So 20 squared is 20 squared plus 30 squared, sorry, is going to give you 1300, and that's equal to C squared. So C is equal to the square root of 1300, and when you put that in the calculator, it gives you a decimal. So we're going to reduce this by doing our family tree. 10 and 130, and then you have 2 and 5. You can do 10 and 13. 13 is a prime number, so again 10 would be 2 and 5. So these are your prime numbers. So you have the square root of, you have 2 2's, you have 2 5's, and you have a 13. And you can always check by multiplying all those numbers, make sure it gives you 1300. Okay, remember you pull out your pairs, so you have a 2 and a 5 on the outside. So those are gone. You have 13 left on the inside. 2 times 5 is 10, so 10 square root of 13 is your answer. Alright, so now we're going to do converse. So remember, converse is whenever you flip a statement, so your if-then statement. So before it was, if you had a right angle, then you did A squared plus B squared equals C squared for your right triangle. Now we're going to flip-flop it. So if A squared plus B squared equals C squared, then what we know is that triangle ABC is a right triangle. Okay, so from this, the three things that we have, if A squared plus B squared equals C squared, then from this we know triangle ABC is a right triangle, and that's if you have the equal sign. Okay, if it is this greater than sign, then you have an acute triangle, and if it's less than, you have an obtuse triangle. Okay, so we are going to do 3 examples and then we're done. So the first one, you have 30, 40, 50. We have to decide if it's an acute, obtuse, or right triangle, and we have to justify our answer, which showing our work is going to be justifying the answer. First thing you need to make sure is that the 3 numbers they give you, if they form a triangle. So this one right here is your greatest number. So remember, 30 plus 40 has to be greater than 50 for it to be a triangle. Well, 30 plus 40 is 70. 70 is greater than 50, then yes, you have a triangle. Also know this is C because it is your biggest side. So we have 30 squared plus 40 squared. Not quite sure what that's going to be, so I'm going to put my question mark right here, and we have 50 squared. Okay, well 30 squared plus 40 squared gives you 2500, and you can put that in the calculator. 50 squared gives you 2500. So we know those two are equal to each other. Since they're equal to each other, we know we have a right triangle. Second one here, first you have to decide if this is a triangle. So the only thing you have to do is add your 2 sides up and make sure it's greater than the biggest one. 20 plus 30 is 50. 50 is greater than 40. So since that is true, we have a triangle. Now we're going to see what kind of triangle it is by doing 20 squared plus 30 squared and seeing how that compares to your 40 squared. 20 squared plus 30 squared in your calculator will give you 1300. 40 squared in your calculator will give you 1600. Okay, 1300 is less than the 1600, so that your C is greater than the sum of your A and B squared. And so for this case, if you can look right back up here, okay, it matches this third one, so we know we have an obtuse triangle. All right, last one. 13, whoops, did not want to do that. 13, 18, 24, and 30. First thing you need to do is make sure that you have a triangle. So add up the two smaller sides. Make sure it's greater than the biggest side. 18 and 24 gives you 42. 42 is greater than 30, so yes, we have a triangle. Okay, this is my biggest side, so this is my C. So now let's see what kind of triangle we have. So we have 18 squared plus 24 squared, and we are going to compare that, so we're not quite sure yet, how that compares to 30 squared. So 18 squared plus 24 squared gives you 900, and then 30 squared gives you 900. So we know these are equal to each other, therefore you have a right triangle. Alright, so that's it. So if you have any questions, you can just come see me and ask.